Oh my gosh. We are in the month of May and we're staying super with SimplySuperDave. How are you doing today, everybody? I know it's been a little while since the last episode, but we're getting so close to 100. As a matter of fact, it's the next episode. This is number 99. The number of my favorite baseball player currently, Mr. Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees, who are in last place. I can only hope that down the road that reverses itself to first place. But tonight, we're getting so close to 100, and 100 may be the last episode. Who knows if I'll pick up the mic again. Definitely, if you want to keep up with me, follow me on YouTube. If I do future podcasts, in between here and there or whatever, when they do drop, they'll definitely be on the YouTube for sure, along with all my shorts and clips that I do through TikTok. We, of course, library them up there on YouTube just in case there's a TikTok ban. We don't want to lose that. Of course, the transition to YouTube is kind of what I'm doing, but at the same time, I'm a big TikTok supporter because I like unfiltered information. I do know that it's filtered to a degree, but it's always has been, right? All information's been filtered. Thank you, Google, for that. You know, narrows down your search, helps you get to what's in your location, whatever. Very helpful tool. But it can also be used against you. So you don't know what's going on in different parts of the world. Well, folks, let me just get to the point of this one. I've been doing this podcast for a few months. I've been streaming for a little bit over 2 years, even though I barely stream anymore. But I gave it a good go in both areas and in the format and the way that I wanted to present myself. And I've learned a lot of hard truths, about going after such viral fame or whatnot. And, you just got to have a certain factor for it. I'm a really behind the scenes. I'm really good at that kind of stuff. I'm good at motivation. I'm good at helping people find their potential, but I'm not the one, I'm, I never have been the one. I've always wanted to try to do stand-up comedy, but I think that if I got up on stage, I'll start rambling and I will never finish a subject. I will go from topic to topic. And, so that's why I wanted to try to do the podcast, to kind of help my speaking ability a little bit, put my ideas out there, kind of test the waters to see if anybody's even interested. And to you 10 or so people, if that many, that are loyal listeners, I really do appreciate listening. I know, that's not a whole lot, but for me, that's 8 more people that get me that didn't before, and that makes me not feel so alone out there. And I would hope those other people realize, hey, there's other listeners, there's other people, and so you small little group, you are so awesome. Thank you so very much. And I'm talking to, of course, the people that listen to the podcast. I do appreciate people that pop in the streams, but that's more of a game-oriented thing. It's not about just content, but content is the big reel when it comes down to any stream or anything that you watch. If the person's not enjoyable or interesting enough, then you won't stick around, You might be courteous and give them a little time, but overall, you probably won't come back on your own. That's just the hard truth of it. And 95% of the people that stream are in that category. And I'm one of them. And, I have a lot of interesting ideas. I have a lot of but I do not have that personality as a host. And as much as I ever wanted to be, I just don't have that. And I made a little bit of money off of it, so I can always say I made a little money doing that. But no, that's just not my forte. My forte is just surviving every day and having fun doing it and staying super while doing it, dealing with problems of everyday life. And hopefully if people ever get a hold of the podcast, or come across it, they'll start from the first episode and they'll see that I talk about a lot of the bad things in the world, but you got to take that shit and you got to recycle it into something good. That anger, that hate, anything that's inside of you, you're having a bad day, you didn't get the raise, you're poor, you can't afford this and that, so you got to pick one, or you can't afford either. Yeah, I'm there with you, folks. I'm the scum at the bottom of the barrel, okay? But I'm not quite below that. There's a whole sediment level too, boys. It can get pretty bad, And some people out there have been to rock bottom and have climbed their way back up. Some people go rock bottom and can't find the way to pick themselves back up. It's just the way life works, And each time something happens in our life that could possibly be a good excuse or reason, however you want to look at it, for stopping or quitting or just giving up on everything. The hardest part about the podcast is being honest and true about a lot of things. And as I said those very words, I had to point the finger right back at myself. I am at a give-up point and struggling to deal with things myself sometimes. And that's why I like doing this podcast, because it kind of pulls me out a little bit by vocalizing it. And that's my way of dealing with my own problems. By discussing it with people openly to a point where I can see there's a benefit from both parties. Like, not only would they benefit from learning from my problem, maybe something they dealt with or have dealt with before, or maybe just being proactive and thinking, okay, if I ever come across that situation, I kind of have an idea of what to do. Regardless of what it is, whether it's financial or just mental or, even a physical situation where you get hurt, and you go through a procedure or something. I mean, you pay attention to your friends and family and you'll know, hey, that's kind of how it goes. This is how long you're going to be down for, We all kind of feed off the information from one another. And in a time where we can feed off so many more people in a day than we normally could 20 plus years ago, where it was just who you came in contact or called on the telephone. Now it's basically through a touch screen where they can reach out and touch you with their little words and comments, and everybody worries about those kinds of things. I don't give a care, at all. Seriously, I don't care at all. And I think a lot of people need to realize that some of these things that are trivial in the moment, serious in the moment, are trivial down the road. I mean, when you look back at some of the things you get angry about, like, for instance, getting stopped at red lights, you can almost like, oh, no, it's going to turn red before I get to the next one. And you watch it stay green until you're about a quarter mile away from it, and then it shifts to yellow. And you realize, I'm not going to make this damn light, and it's going to hit you every red light down the highway. And it could tick you off. This is where road rage comes from. And or the way other people drive, whatever it is. But when you look back at the moment, you'll think to yourself, if I just wouldn't have got upset, that accident wouldn't have happened. If I just would have put on some good music and just accepted the fact that I'm going to stop at 15 red lights here in the next 2 miles, then I would have been okay. But instead, you decided to try to run the red light, T-bone another car in a cross-section, and that decision could have been avoided if you didn't give in to that frustration. And that's just a small example of something. But you could put it into any effect of everyday life. Anything can set anybody off. It just depends how they're handling it. You can ask the wrong person about what size would you like your coffee? And they could be someone that does, coffee for, I don't know. Just, I'm making up shit here. Okay, so I don't know. But if last thing you want to do as a waitress is come home and give somebody and serve them food. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a mechanic probably has a broken down car on their fucking parking lot, in their driveway, because they don't have time to fix their own car because they're fixing everyone else's. A painter has unpainted rooms in their house, but they make sure everything's prime and perfect for the people that they paint for, that, live in houses that they can work in but probably would never live in a lifetime. And that's the life, but going back to the streaming thing and doing the podcast and being so thankful for you few very loyal people that have listened to the podcast, and thank you to any of you future people that listen to this even after I'm done with 100 episodes of it. Overall, I learned some hard truths about, some of the things I find that are interesting. A lot of people don't. They don't really care, and then I think, well, it's pushed on media so much, but nobody wants to really talk about it. A lot of people don't want to deal with anything anymore, which is going to make it real easy for anybody to really control this country, because if they just say, look, you're going to be taken care of, just let us deal with it, we would be like, okay, that's just fine with us. We don't want to deal with it anyway. So that's kind of feel like how society's become. Like nobody, we can have all the conversations we want, but is anybody going to do anything about it? Is anyone protesting or lining up at the, I don't know what federal building you would line up to, maybe in New York City or whatever, or maybe Washington, D.C., to release the clientele list of the Jeffrey Epstein trials, or Maxine, what was that her name? Was Maxine. Anyway, she was charged. She's put in jail. It was legit. There's a list of people that paid for services that is, why, that is, I know a lot of people are like, why you always keep going back to that? There is, if that is being hidden from us, what thousands of other things that have happened that aren't as big as that get hidden from us. Only because of the internet and the possibility of spreading and leaking, even if it can be wiped away. Once it's out there, it's out there. And once people know about it, they'll make their own. And everything gets taken down, but it keeps going. Because people don't want to give up. They don't want to give up on people knowing the truth about a situation. Oh, folks. All we can do is control that bubble. That's right. Whether it's a small bubble or a big bubble, whatever you got going on, just make sure you got a lot of positivity in it. And seek out that anger and that hate that you got, and kind of like eat it away. Remember, recycle it. Use it. Let it be motivation to be a better person, better human being. Oh my gosh. People care too much. People need to say fuck it and don't care a little bit more. For instance, a buddy of mine could call me and be like, look, a flounder jumped in my boat today. And I would be like, was that good or a bad thing? That's awesome, right? And he goes, yeah, it's a good thing. Well, I'm happy for you. That's awesome. I could care less about the flounder jumping in the boat. Not like he does. But I'm happy for him because the flounder could jump. Otherwise, if it would have been the other way, like, no, that's bad luck. It's bad for a flounder to jump in. I would have been like, oh, that sucks for you. That's horrible. But at the same time, you have to have this point where you care about the person enough to invest, even if you don't care about the situation. And I think a lot of people in this country kind of forget that, because they tend to think that they're perfect, or they see themselves represented in a way. I almost feel like a lot of people hear music and they're like, that's me. And I know that's the whole point of music. They want to connect with people and speak what they're thinking. But some of the songs out there I hear, and I'm like, you can't really believe in that, right? I mean, come on. I love rap and Eminem and Dr. Dre and Public Enemy back in the day, Kumo D even, Big Daddy Kane. I mean, I heard a lot of stuff, and, Slick Rick. I mean, but I also understood it was just music. Even they said it themselves, it's just music. Yes, there's a lot of based on life, but it's exaggerated and just put out there to inform people, how life is, and blah, 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 in not so pretty places. And then a lot of people associate to that, and I associated to that. And that's why hip-hop and R&B was kind of like my first independently musical choice once I became old enough and got out of my house and away from the 70s rock, from my parents' generation, and I was raised by my grandparents who listened to country and gospel. So there you go. So I found the extreme opposite. I came back to rock and roll, but I really enjoyed rock and roll only because it started mixing itself into rap, and then I pulled myself into rock and roll fully. And of course, eventually, did the whole dive back to the 60s and 70s greatest hits and stuff that you hear on the radio every damn day if you listen to any classic rock station. I don't think they have a modern day rock station left. I think everything is classic rock. I don't know why, but they just refuse to play new rock and roll music from today's rock bands. Regardless if they've been around for 30 years or 3 years, it doesn't matter. I just prefer to hear some new rock music every now and then. Maybe a rock station that played B-sides or other songs from the album besides just the one song they play all the time, or 2 or 3. There's 10. There's 7 other choices there we can get on the air. I believe there's a vast future of so many choices for us in the future, but we got to get through the monetization of it all. And I believe when you look back and you figure it all out and you look where the money goes, it's all about corporation greed, and it's not really about the politicians, because the politicians are owned by the corporations. So it really goes down to these businesses. Business really does own this country and our way of life, and in everything we do, to the point where how we use the internet and our data has become valuable, like money, it's worth things, because you have turned into a monetization. You're a product yourself, and they make money from you, feeding you, and it's a vicious circle, folks, to watch art imitate life and life imitate art to the point of consumption. And I feel like we are so overly saturated with that right now. We need to strip it down to, I don't care about this shit that Kim Kardashian cares about. What do you care about? What do you want to take care of that you can take care of, that's happening around you and not 3,000 miles away? Or in an alternate universe that only rich people live in and not where you actually do. Look around, folks, and what I can say is, if you're a giving person, make sure you give to those that you can. Reach out and try to keep swimming. Even when you feel like giving up, just get up every day and go to work. Push your way through it. Have a miserable day, but have a miserable day. Don't have no day at all. No day at all is worse than a miserable day. Remember that. So I hope tomorrow you have a miserable day or a great day. But I hope you have a day, as we're all blessed to have a day, granted to us by the very energy that lives within our bodies, running like a battery. Every now and then I think if I should try to grab something like an electric line, not a high voltage one, but a little one, just to get a little bit more spark into me, little energy transference there. Whatever I could do to stick around a little bit longer. But I will be posting when we do episode number 100, because it will be a live episode. That's right. We will be going live. Follow me on Facebook, SimplySuperDave, Twitter, SimplySuperDave, YouTube, whatever you want to follow me on. And you will be able to get notified in advance. And I will do it sometime, probably, what's today? Thursday. So I'll give my listeners, all 10 of you, a chance to listen, and we'll do it sometime next week, okay? I will, of course, like I said, post about it. There will be a link that will be posted on Facebook, which is why I point out Facebook, that you can join, that takes you instantly to the chat and the live broadcast. And so you can interact with me as I talk, and so you can direct the conversation instead of letting this idiot do it. So remember, folks, when you go out tomorrow, it's okay to have a miserable day, because it's better than no day at all. And it's also not to care about every fucking thing like you think you should. All right? Let go a little bit. Focus on what's more important, and let go of all the bullshit that you think that you care about, but you really don't have time for. You may be replacing that care with something that you should be caring about. Like I said, our priorities here in America are a little backwards, and we're almost to that breaking point of giving up control to it as long as they take care of us. We got to break that mentality. Don't you want to own your own life? Don't you want to earn and feel free and not obligated to tell the government anything if they didn't want to know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're in our medical, they're in our housing, they're in our banking, they're in our car industry, they're in the it's insane. And corporations own the politics. I'm telling you, it's very vicious, very vicious. And media is the ultimate tool or weapon. Which do you use it for? Which are you being attacked with, or are you being helped with? Think about it, folks. It's up to you what you scroll and what you click on, or whatever it is that you offer up to Siri to look up. It's all up to you. Whether you can educate yourself to become more aware so you can hold on to the control of your life, or get lost into giving up control because you think you already know everything, because they know everything. Life is tricky. And that's why I always say, no matter what, even on those miserable days, you have to laugh about it. I laugh about my horrible days. At some point, I get to a stopping point. I sit there and I just start laughing at myself. What an idiot. But I keep going. And I just want to once again, say thank you to all you people that listen to this idiot. It means a lot to me. And I promise you, I will do more podcasts after 100. I will. They just won't be as frequent. There'll be a little bit in between, maybe once a month or so. Every couple, whatever. Whatever the great energy god of the earth grants me. The big bubble that we live on. Yes, the big ball of energy. That's surrounded by the mark of the beast that we're all connected to and using at this very moment. I need everybody to stay strong. Don't let those walls of displeasure come rolling in on you from the media that's surrounding you, from your TVs, your little apple of knowledge in your hand there. Whether it's an Android or an Apple, it doesn't matter. It's the apple of knowledge, okay? Or just the negative people in the world that are influenced by that very media to come out with chips on their shoulders. You got to navigate. That's what life's all about. You're going to be surrounded. There's billions of people on this planet. Billions of people on this planet. Not everybody's going to care enough. And then you got a lot of people out there that care too much, but about the wrong things. Don't let them influence you. They're paid to. All those great big influencers, man, they wake up every day thinking about what videos they can make and how many views they can get so they can make money for the corporation they're going, and then they can sell it to somebody else I miss the small businesses. I really do. And in 2020 was the death of that. It's all big corporations now, baby. And if you don't see it looming around you, you must be blind. 2020 was not about a pandemic. We all know that now. 2020 was about taking advantage of a situation, 9/11, and using it for profit and control. 9/11. COVID. Whatever it is, looking back, it's pretty evident. Go out there, live your life, make your decisions, stand behind them. Even if I stood in front of you and said I disagreed with you, which I wouldn't do. Even if you asked me, I would say, well, I disagree with you, but I'm not you. So, I'm that logical, okay? I accept there's different people that live with different moralities than me in this world. And we share the same country. So we got to have some rules here where we can all be happy. But at the same time, not break any laws. You know what I mean? So, let's make a system together based on what the people want. We had that. And we've lost it. And I'm thinking we've lost it about a good 80 plus years ago. If not a little bit more than that. It's time to keep waking up, folks. Keep digging in those rabbit holes. Keep filling your head with information, theories that become facts. A lot of them are. It's pretty amazing when the truth finally does come out. Because the truth always does come out. And it always will. It is the salvation of our lives. When we don't even know it sometimes. When we're trying to keep so many things hidden. It's just the way we are. Well, folks, episode 99 is in the books. And I hope that you do remember one thing. There's nothing that can conquer hate and fear like love and laughter. So use that as your shield and spear and be the conqueror. And go out there and make that miserable day the best fucking miserable day of your life. Much love to everybody. And I'll see you at episode 100.